السماء جلالا فأزيد أسراب الغيوم جمالا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the interview series on Quran Works. Today with us, inshallah, we have Mufti Abdul Wahab, all the way coming from Michigan, from Miftaah Institute. Today, inshallah, we will be asking him a couple of questions and understanding his viewpoints. So, inshallah, the first question, Mufti, who is your role model that brought you closer to Islam?
First of all, alaikum bless you both, bless your brothers, bless your parents, and continue to give you guys the ability to grow in your journey of ilm, inshallah. Who was my role model that pushed us to come closer to this beautiful religion? I think in a simple answer, my father, who someone that raised us, and our parents who raised us in a very unique way, despite the challenges in this country. Hats off to them for keeping us in a setting that allowed us to grow academically and somewhat protect our deen to the best of their ability. They're both physicians, but they took the time out and gave us the level of religious education in an environment that was necessary. So for sure him, and then by extension our teachers. For people like us, we study 12, 14 years, and our role models naturally become those we benefit from the most. And people in this world, even if you don't say this person is your role model, whoever you benefit from the most becomes your role model. So that's the way that role models work. So I benefited quite a bit, or a large amount, from the teachers that we had in Canada and Pakistan. And they became our role models simply because of their service to this deen and their commitment to this deen. And these are the types of personalities that we believe that everyone should have as role models. People that serve in a way that it doesn't seem like a burden, whereas if anyone saw them from a distance, they would think, how is this person even doing this? So those are our role models, and we hope to be even in small amount like them. And of course, the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ is the ultimate role model. There is no role model that is necessary when you have the seerah of the Prophet in front of us. Sa'ad bin Waqqas radiyallahu anhu used to say, كُنَّا نُعَلِّمُ أَبْنَاءَنَا مَغَازِ النَّبِيِّ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ وَنُعَلِّمُهُمْ سُورَةً مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. That we would teach our children the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ with the same level of vigor and consistency as we would teach in the Quran, because it would become a role model for our children. So if we allow the seerah to be present within our homes, the youngster will always find the Prophet to be the greatest role model. So those are a few. I can name many more, of course.
Beautiful question. The second question, inshallah, is what exactly inspired you to become a mufti?
That's a great question. You guys ask good questions, mashallah. What inspired me to become mufti or to just study? I mean, we're still students, we're all students of knowledge, but what inspired me to study and continue to do my mufti program and to become a mufti is definitely the environment that we were raised in, that a child whose parents always invite physicians and engineers to their home, a child will want to become a physician or engineer. A child whose parents, be it there are physicians, if they invite scholars and muftis to their home and respect them a fair bit, like your father does, and I love that from your mother, then naturally the child will want to also become that. Of course. So that's where it starts. We don't really have a lot of mashayikh have some really cool stories of what changed our life. And for us, it's fairly simple, that the environment that we were raised in cultivated a longing to want to do it, A. And B, I think for sure the ability of bringing the most benefit to the ummah. A person should always aspire to use whatever career path that they have to bring benefit to themselves, their families, and quite primarily the ummah. Because what is a blessing if it is not used to bring goodness to people around us? It's not a blessing. The definition of a blessing is that it brings goodness to people. And to go ahead and study the years that we studied and go ahead and do the mufti course, the idea was how can I use this to bring more benefit to myself, to gain a depth of knowledge in this beautiful religion that allows us to become the greatest slave to Allah that we possibly can be with our own struggles, and then to use it to inspire others to go ahead and come closer to Allah. There's no secret sauce. The way that it works is you have the intention has to be as pure as possible, and naturally Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows things to open up. But definitely the environment and then just the idea. I love law. If I didn't do mufti course, I would have probably became a lawyer. I love the idea of understanding how the principles are applied and in different eras, and then using it in today's time and allowing it to be a source of helping people, and at the same time not compromising where the compromise is not needed.
Beautiful, mashallah. So inshallah, the final question is, what is your advice to the youth today?
That's a loaded question. We can go on that for an entire hour, but I'll give two simple pieces of advice. Number one, the first advice would be, don't ever overestimate the strength of your friendships by doing so compromising the relationships with your parents and siblings. Because friends will come and go, but the most important relationships are the ones that Allah gave us, which is our parents, and then by extension our siblings. Those are relationships as youth, as youngsters, we oftentimes, because they're so visibly apparent for us and they're so present for us, we can ignore them or we can overlook them. The greatest source of our intercession in the akhirah is our parents' pleasure. So being with them, spending time with them, not ignoring them. That's number one. We live in a country where it's very normal to ignore the rights of parents or to simply justify our inability to serve them. Because in today's time, we can justify anything. That's just the reality. We can justify. People justify some really interesting things. We can justify anything. So if someone wants to justify why they don't want to serve their parents, you would hear an applause from the audience because it will make sense. Right? So the idea is be as present as possible. Don't overestimate the strength of your friendships, and by doing so compromise the relationships of your parents and your siblings. Number one, that's Allah gave it to you. Number two is there is no currency that will help us in the akhirah other than a'mal. So find a way to spend at least one salat in the masjid, right? Spend some time filling our portfolio of good deeds. Allah can take us whenever He wishes to take us. How many youngsters do we know that leave so early? Right? Subjectively early, but obviously in the eyes of Allah it's on time. There's no such thing as early or late. But if I'm not filling a portfolio of a'mal, then my resume in front of Allah will be quite lacking. Think of your portfolio of a'mal to be like a resume that you present to someone when you want a job. And if it's not filled up properly, you don't get much out of it. In the a'mal that we present Allah, the only way to fill them is to spend some time in worshipping Allah. So I'm not saying we should overwhelm ourselves, but as youngsters we have enough time to go to the gym, we have enough time to spend time with our friends and play PlayStation and so on and so forth. We can make enough time to go try our best a few days in a week, go to the masjid, serve the elders around us, do our best to connect to the Quran, even at a minimal level, at a daily basis. If that means not reading but just listening. All these things create a'mal, and they create reward. And the condition to earn Jannah is not that we don't have sins, it's simply that we have more good deeds. So we continue filling it up to the point that when we leave, thaqulat mawazinuhu, our good deeds are heavier than our sins. It's two things, inshallah. Allah bless you both.
Jazakallah khairan for your time and your valuable insights. I hope all of us and all of our viewers can benefit from your insights. Ameen. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Wal 'asri innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa 'amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqq wa tawasaw bis sabr. Subhana rabbika rabbil 'izzati 'amma yasifun. Salamun 'alal mursalin walhamdulillahi rabbil 'alamin.
أسمو وأجتاز السماء جلالا فأزيد أسراب الغيوم جمالا